All right. Hello, everyone. It's Sybil Starr. I'm here to talk about the Aries full moon, which occurs on October 1st, 2020 at 2:05 p.m. Pacific time. It occurs at 10 degrees of Aries. I'm going to show you the chart here real quick. Okay, so we can see what's happening. All right. So we can see the chart here. Here is the Aries full moon is at 9 degrees, well, 10 degrees, 9 degrees, 8 minutes of Aries. It is opposite the sun at 9 degrees, 8 minutes of Libra. This sun is in what's called an inconjunct to Uranus, which is at 9 degrees of Taurus. I'm going to be talking about that. Okay. And then we're going to be talking about the ruler of this Aries full moon, which is Mars at 24 degrees of Aries, tightly conjunct Eris at 24 degrees, and black moon Lilith. And also all of these, there's a lot of energy in Aries here. And these three here, Mars, Eris, and Black Moon Lilith, are in a square to Saturn and Pluto up here in Capricorn. All right, so this is what we're going to be talking about. And then we'll also talk just a little bit about the nodes of the moon, 23 degrees of Gemini opposite the south node, the north node, 23 degrees of Gemini, south node, 23 degrees of Sagittarius, both in a square to Neptune. All right, so now let's go back and talk about what's happening. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Sabian symbol for this Aries full moon. And we always go up a degree. So as we read it at 10 degrees of Aries. And the Sabian symbols were there was a psychic named Elsie Wheeler back in the 1930s who had a vision for every degree of the zodiac. And often these psychic visions add some really good context and information for the astrological energy that is happening. So what this vision is a teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. And this is a really important degree to me because it is the degree of my North Node. And the North Node represents the way forward. It's the North Star. And so it speaks to me of reinterpreting new understandings. You know, astrology has changed over the years, many thousands of years, in our understanding and how we interpret it. And I feel like we're getting ready to make another leap forward as we move into the quantum age, into the age of Aquarius, that there is a different understanding that is coming. And I think quantum physics is helping us understand the nature of reality in such a different way that it is going to be changing everything, recognizing that in the quantum field, that not only are we in the field, we are the field, and we impact the field by everything we say, do, and feel. It changes the field. So it makes us be more aware and more conscious of what we're putting into the field. And I feel like that is a big piece of this Aries full moon and this Aries energy in general. Aries is the warrior, and as a matter of fact, I'm calling this video Warriors of Light. And you know, in indigenous cultures, warriors were not the aggressors, they were more the protectors, the one who drew the line in the sand and who said no, and who stood up for what was true and right and just. And it takes boldness, it takes courage. Aries always brings courage. And courage doesn't mean that we're not afraid. It means we're afraid, but we do it anyway. And we are in some scary times because things are changing that do require courage to us to keep putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward. Aries is about personal sovereignty and self-ownership and taking responsibility for our actions. I saw a meme on the internet and it said, it was someone looking at a wall, and there were like 5 mirrors, and one it said your choices, your thoughts. I can't remember all of them, but it was like, here is who is responsible for your choices, your thoughts, your life. And to recognize that Aries asks us to take personal responsibility, and to recognize that everything starts with ourselves. The way we change the world is by changing ourselves, because ourselves are the only ones that we can control and change. We can't control anyone else. Um, and I had a friend, and you know, Aries often brings up anger and some unconscious anger and triggers. And I had a while back, I was having some episodes of being pretty angry about some things going on in our world. And my friend and mentor said to me, Sybil, um, you know, all this anger that you're carrying, you know, that's what you're putting in the field, and you're contributing to the anger. And I really had to look at that. And she said, is this what you want to do? Well, and of course, no. And so I had to get to a different place. And this is where the sun in Libra comes in. You know, Libra and Aries are polar opposites, and it's self versus other. And Libra and Aries is very much about a really big, fiery energy, and it can bring up anger. Whereas Libra is more about serenity and inner peace. And I feel like, to be a warrior of light, we need to be centered within ourselves. We need to find that place of inner peace. So as we stand up for what is important, we're not coming from a place of rage and anger and putting that into the field, and you know, we can just see it everywhere. And so it is about thinking before we speak, thinking before we act, finding that place of inner peace and getting clear. Many indigenous cultures really honored and recognized the importance of taking a pause before you say something, and getting your thoughts clear before they come out. And the other thing is sovereignty, and personal sovereignty and self-ownership is not about controlling others. That everyone does not have to think and believe the same way we do. To recognize there are differences, and how to have dialogue with others who have different opinions, and to respect those. The sun, which is in conjunct Taurus, Uranus and Taurus, as I showed us a little bit earlier, brings in the concept of consciousness of Mother Earth and of our bodies. Um, Uranus is very much about consciousness. It is called the divine mind. And Taurus is very much related to Mother Earth, and our bodies are given to us by Mother Earth. It's a very grounded, bodily focused kind of an energy. And so it's about listening to the wisdom of our bodies. That this craziness that is happening in our world, we cannot let ourselves get sick over it. Really paying attention to that. And if you're finding yourself getting sick or too upset, to pull back, get centered again, get grounded in your body, go outside, be in nature. Mother Earth can take all of the stress that is happening. And I saw a really good article recently, and the question was, who is your life partner? And the response is, it's our bodies. It's not another person. It is our bodies, and it is our responsibility to take care of our bodies, to love our bodies, and do all we can to make them as healthy as possible, to help us move through these challenging times. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the Mars in Aries, which is conjunct Eris. And Eris is the goddess of discord. And there is a whole lot of discord going on. And he's also conjunct Black Moon Lilith. And Black Moon Lilith is very much about the sovereignty and independence of our own bodies. And even though this is not really happening right now, it is something that is coming up in the future. I do believe that there will be a battle over who owns our bodies. The state, or do we? Now, it's in a square to Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. And there's just a great amount of divisiveness happening right now. Squares bring challenges. Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter and Capricorn. Capricorn has to do with the institutions and structures of our society, and and Mars, is the warrior and where we draw the line. And Pluto is very much, there's a power grab going on, and on many different levels, not just one. And so it is about where we draw the line in the sand and say no, but yet come from a place of peace. But these institutions, especially the media and the government, are doing their best to divide and conquer. In so many ways, we're being asked to turn each other in and the thing, if you've seen that movie, Social Media, you will understand that people are getting different information. One of the quotes from the movie says, you wonder why people believe the way they do. What, can't they see what is happening? Well, they are actually getting different information. There is propaganda and programming going on for all of us. It is so important for us each to question, is what I am getting the truth? Just because it lines up with my beliefs, is it true? It's actually forming my beliefs. And so it's so important to do your own research, and absolutely do not trust fact checkers. I mean, they are not independent, nor are they non-biased. Someone is paying their payroll. They're on the payroll of somebody, so when you're seeking truth, do your own research. And I want to share this little story here that I found very interesting. If you go to the Southwest desert and catch 100 red fire ants, as well as 100 large black ants, and put them in a jar, at first nothing will happen. However, when you violently shake the jar and dump them back on the ground, the ants will fight until they eventually kill each other. The thing is, the red ants think the black ants are the enemy, and vice versa. When in reality, the real enemy is the person who shook the jar. That is exactly what is happening in society today. Liberal versus conservative, black versus white, pro-mask versus anti-mask. The real question we need to be asking ourselves is, who is shaking the jar and why? Yeah, those are some really important questions. Right, and it's really important to ask ourselves, who is shaking the jar? Who is benefiting from us being divided? And so just a little more about Mars in Aries, especially retrograde. Mars in Aries retrograde is very much about, going within and looking to see where we are adding fuel to these fires. And I'm living in California. I'm living in Sonoma County, and we're in the midst of fire season, and this is the worst fire season I've ever seen. Actually, when I saw all of this Mars energy coming up in the fall, I knew the fire season was going to be bad, because as within, so without. So on one hand, there is a purification going on. There is so much toxicity in the world. There is a purification going on because it needs to happen. On another level, it is still asking us, where are we contributing to this fuel, and where can we be more accountable and more responsible, because all of our actions have consequences. Saturn is about consequences, and Saturn and Mars together is also about recognizing that we need to pick our battles wisely. There are so many battles to be fought, but the key, of course, is to pick them wisely and carefully, and to come from a place of being centered within ourselves and not just blind rage and hate, because that contributes to the fire. So really having some self-awareness around all of that is very, very important. As I shared, I watched this movie, Thrive, 2 the other night, and it was very interesting. And they gave a really good definition of critical thinking. And the north, I said I would talk about the north node a little bit, the nodes of the moon. Well, the north node is in Gemini, and the south node of the moon is in Sagittarius. Gemini is very much about critical thinking skills, questioning everything. And the south node of the moon is what we're releasing, whereas the north node of the moon is what we're going towards. And the south node of the moon is in Sagittarius, which is about our beliefs. And the definition that was given, it was the woman was sharing something her grandmother had said, which said, suspend disbelief and temporarily hold conflicting views long enough to determine the highest truth. And I find myself doing that a lot lately when I see something that doesn't quite gel with me. Instead of just dismissing it, I hold it in my heart as a possibility until whatever really is the truth comes through. And I have found that I have really stepped back from a lot of things that I have always believed to be true, to find that I'm really questioning and finding out with further exploration they are not true. So, it is a journey. And the thing that is really shifting everything for us is, for me, is my understanding of the quantum field and how everything that I say, do, and feel impacts this field. And that it is a truth that Mother Earth is moving into higher vibrations. There is a new vibration coming in, and it is my job to move with her, to stay in this vibration. And that is why I have just really pulled back from getting involved in the fray, in the fighting, and just stepping back and trying to be centered within myself and to see that, recognize that I find truth in some of the strangest places, and no one holds all of the truth. But as this vibration is increasing, anything that does not align with this new vibration is falling away. And we need to let those things fall away. There are so many things we can't fix in our world. It does seem like we are in epic times, that it is an epic battle. And our job as warriors of light is to stay in that high vibration and to bring that light through. For if there is a darkness growing in the world, there must be an equally growing light. Such are the laws of nature and balance. And the growing light is what comes from within each of us, and from within our own personal sovereignty. And as we come together with the growing light of others, that is how the light grows. But it has to come from within each one of us first. And our job is to stay centered and focused, not distracted by the chaos, but shining the light of love from our hearts. It is about surrendering to the divine will. We cannot do this alone. We are never alone anyway. This is where the fallacy comes in, that we are separate. As we understand the quantum field, we know we are part of everything. The quantum field is creator. It is the divine source, and it is what lives within us, and we are it. God is a collective. And the more we can remember this, the more it can help us not only through these times, but to birth a new world. We're being called to be warriors of light and bring a new world into being. For it is in the chaos of the breakdown of the old that the new is given birth. We are giving birth as the old breaks down. And it is the light that comes from within each one of us, and as we then join together. So this is the message that is coming through me for this Aries new moon. I hope that or full moon. I hope that it is helpful for you. All right, wishing you all a great several weeks. I'll be back in 2 weeks with the Libra new moon. And if you like this video, please subscribe. And you can contact me at sibylstar.com. That's SIBYLSTAR. All right, wishing you all much love.